and welcome to the 2nd of September's Virtual Card and Cuppas. My name is Fiona Whitten and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator based in Wokingham in the UK. Today I'm going to share with you the cards, the cards that went to Card and a Cuppa this morning, and then I'm going to make a fourth card live here on Facebook. Now just bear with me a second, I just need to make sure, that this is going live, and it looks like it is, which is good. Although it would help if I turned the volume off, because then you wouldn't be hearing everything in duplicate. But anyway, so this is the card that we used this morning. It features the gorgeously made bundle. At least when I've stamped it will feature the thing, because at the moment it's just the dies. And also this rather lovely Masterfully Made paper. And I'll show you it all in a minute. There is one sheet I don't have anymore because it all got used up. In fact, 2 packs of it got used up to make the kits. But I'll just talk you through it. So we have the usual envelope, because we can't make a card without an envelope or even send it. We have a thick basic white card base. This is a piece of fresh Fresia cardstock that has been die cut using one of the dies from the gorgeously made bundle. So I'll show you the bundle in more depth in a minute. Some paper, which is rather sweet. You probably can't see too well here, but there's like wording here. And this is a photographed image of strips of card, paper and things that have been ripped, torn. And I know there's a lot of people who really dislike tearing their cardstock and paper. So if you're one of those, then this is the paper for you, because you don't need to tear anything. It's all been done. There's actually a really good video that Stampin' Up! Made that shows the originals of all the artwork that was used to create these images. And on the back side of this one, it's lots of little torn bits of paper. We have these are the same but just different colours. We have fresh Fresia and a I have to remember now, pretty Peacock, sorry, label. So that label also is in the die set. And then there's a frond and a branch. So we have a fresh Fresia and a pretty Peacock bits. And then we have a strip that is to go on the inside of the card. So the items that we used, you will find in the annual catalogue on pages 102 and 103. Yeah, 102 and 103. So within the collection, there is the pack of paper, the stamp set, the dies, and there's also these rather sweet adhesive back sequins. And I got all of those, so I can show you what they all look like. So if I do the easy ones first, which are the smaller things. So this is the stamp set. It's red rubber. So it means it's cling mount, so it'll stick on your clear acrylic blocks. And then we have 3 images, well 4 if you count this one as well, because it's not really a sentiment as such, and then 3 sentiments. This one, the video explains how this image was created for the stamp, and in fact it was a ring on a notepad, so like a ring spiral binder thing, and the lady who did it simply used a crayon to create, like you do like a brass rubbing, to create that image. So that's what that is. If you look at it and think, oh, I kind of know what that is, but you're really guessing, then then there you go. So as I said, it's red rubber. The dies that go with it as part of the bundle, so you can buy them all separately, or you can buy them as the bundle and save yourself the 10%. So this was the one that's down the edge of the paper, and then we've also used this one and that one. So that's the pretty frond, that's your leaves and label, and then this piece you can use to just cut the paper and create a layered look. If you really don't, if you like die cutting and you don't want to tear, then this is a good way to go. So those are that's the bundle. These are the rather pretty, they're adhesive backed, so you don't have to get your glue out to stick these on. So we've got some clear, pretty Peacock, and I would say fresh Fresia, but actually it looks more pink. So it could be a flirty flamingo or something like that, but they're when you sort of move them around, they look like an orangey colour. So that's the easy part. Now the paper itself, as I said, I've only one sheet I don't have anymore, but all of these sheets, the designs were created using paper. So I don't know if you can see. So there's some paper that's been torn, it's been embossed. The flowers have been created using punches and all sorts of things. And I know that the lady that designed this had an absolute blast creating it. So that was one side, and then so you can see the torn paper. So and again, some bits have been embossed, some bits are just the cardstock. This is different bits of paper used to create a scene. So we have a mountains with different coloured fields. So it's something slightly different. And again, we've just got torn. This is a great one because you can cut it in half here and then just cut 3 pieces. And then that means you just got 6 pieces to create a card front. And so without hardly any effort at all. And then obviously you can then just add your sentiment and off you go. And on the reverse side is some more pretty Peacock. I'm really hoping that this video is working because we've just had a really bad rainstorm here. And then someone somewhere around is, I don't know what they're doing, they must be doing some building, whatever it was, they were dropping something on the ground. It actually felt like a bit like an earthquake, and I'm not in San Diego, I'm definitely in the UK. But it was really weird having the house shake and rattle a bit. So anyway, so it's another piece. So we've got so this was created more with, I think she used the computer on that one. Or painted, and again that's kind of straightforward. Actually, that's quite a nice piece that you can use for Christmas or whenever. And then this flowery one, again, you've got the words running on the background, and I seem to remember she might have used acrylic paints on these to create them. And again, then we've got sort of leaves and things again. So that's the paper. The last piece of paper, which I said I've used completely, all bar 2 strips. So this is what I have left of my 2 full sheets. Actually, no, 4 full sheets of 12 by 12. So as you can see, it has different. So we have this wording here, and we've got the paper again, and on the other side it's again it's torn paper, but that can be used for all sorts of things. Now I'm sure that you want to see the cards that I took this morning for people to use as samples for their own creations. So these are they. Kept them fairly simple, and this is by far the simplest one. So we're simply gluing the the cardstock and the paper together, put them on the card front, just glued the leaf frond, and then stamped a sentiment in Pretty Peacock onto the fresh Fresia, and then this Pretty Peacock piece behind, you simply cut it in half and then you glue the two ends underneath, and just making sure that it's all in line, and then add that with dimensionals. And I finished these off with just some paper on the inside. Second one, again, we kept these really simple for this week. We've just got the paper glued to the cardstock, glued to the card front. We've put the fronds on, but this one here, the frond has actually been cut so that you've got, the one piece has been cut into two, so you've got two bits there and one piece here. And again, the happy birthday here is actually from a different stamp set. So I did take a different stamp set with me because I know everybody's wanting to make birthday cards. I'm sure next month when we start making Christmas cards, there'll still be someone who wants to make a birthday card, but hey. So this happy birthday sentiment comes from the Go To Greetings stamp set, which again is in the annual catalogue. And again, just simply paper on the inside. And on the third card, turned it around so we had landscape rather than portrait. Obviously then cut the cardstock and the paper down so that it fitted. The rest of it would have been up here. So this will be 10 centimetres here. You don't need to change the width of the width. No, hang on. Yeah, you don't need to change the width because the width is already the right thing. So we just changed it, so that's 10. And again, you've got the whole of the fronds added to the front. Stamp the hello, which is from the, I'll put it, the Gorgeously Made stamp set. So we've got the hello here, and we've got thank you and you're a great friend. So all of these will fit on these little labels here. And then this time I just put the paper so that it was on the end. So those are the 3 cards that I took this morning. And I just need to bring back my kit, which I've buried under the stamp sets. So there we go. And I was actually thinking about this today and trying to decide what it was I was going to do. I'm going to leave it so that it is still a portrait card. Like that. But I'm going to do some stamping on here as well. And I'm going to do a fair bit of stamping. Different things. So I want that. Okay, this piece I'm going to stamp. This piece I'm going to stamp. And then the question is, what am I going to stamp it with? So this piece, I'm actually going to use this frond here and stamp it on here. Now I don't want it to go all the way down, so I am in fact going to use a piece of post-it note to mask off where I don't want. So here's my, so there's that. Let's move everything else out the way. I want my fresh Fresia ink, post-it note. Now this actually is wide enough, luckily, that it will go all the way across. Now I only want it to come down as far as the middle of this. Let's see, does that look about ready, about right? Maybe a little bit above. So if I just make sure that that's lined up, that is lined up, which is pretty much okay. Using your grid paper for lining up and making sure things are straight is a really good way of ensuring that, I'm going to say, but we'll see. So I'm going to stamp this in fresh Fresia. Don't need to go too heavy-handed with it. It's quite a wet ink pad. I'm going to go, let's see, do one here. And do one the other side. So I'm going to go more into the corner, I think, on that one. Like so. So that's that. And then when that piece goes on, and this piece goes on, you will be able to see the stamping underneath. And it just fills the card front up slightly, a bit more. So I'm happy with that. Now the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp my sentiment on here. And I think I'm just going to stamp hello on the bottom. And this is where I hope that I get it straight, because this bit doesn't really matter. This bit here does. Actually, no. This is another trick of how to get it. I think the problem is I'm going to have to stand up and not breathe too heavily into the microphone. The idea is that you can, because you've got an acrylic block, you can see the line of the sentiment through. And so long as you've got your block lined up on a line, hold on to that so that I don't knock it. That's about right, I hope. And this time I'm going to use some pretty Peacock ink. So I'm going to sew, when it comes to the stamping, so long as you line up what you're stamping onto your grid paper, and then make sure that you're lining up the bottom of your block with a line on the grid paper, you should be good to go. Yep, there we go. Okay, so that's that. The other thing I want to stamp is I'm going to stamp on here, and I'm not stamping a sentiment. I'm going to stamp this, and you'll see why in a minute. So I want to actually stamp that onto there. Now I'm not really worried about whether I get the whole thing on or off. I mean, if you really want to, you can cheat a bit and simply place that on like so. Be careful not to get it all over your fingers. And then I'm just going to turn it over and it will fall off. So I've got that pattern on my piece of fresh Fresia. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue these two together. It doesn't matter that these bits don't line up, because I just want it, because I'm just going to create like a pot. So that's those two. Let's put that stamp. Actually, before I do anything else, I'm going to stamp the envelope and stamp the inside of the card. So I'm just going to use this. Oh, actually, I could use that one. No. So I'm going to stamp my envelope. And I don't need to have too much on here, so I'm going to just stamp it like that. Now I know I've already used part of that, so I'm going to, let's see if I can work it out. Just want something that's a little bit more faded on here. That's it. And then I want to do the same for the inside. So put that again to one side. Let's do the inside, making sure that I'm actually getting the right bit. Be a bit of a disaster if I didn't. It just means it'll be an upside down card. Again, I'm just going to I've sort of got 2-3 generations of ink on that, so it's just very subtle. Where's my bone folder? Bone folder, not sure. I've got a nice flat card to glue everything to. Close everything up, so I'm not going to put my fingers in it. So there's that. Now I have, where is it? I've got that piece and I've got this piece. So I'm going to glue this to that. I'm trying to put all my blocks out of the way so I don't end up getting stuff everywhere. Move that out of the way. Just need to make sure you have this the right way up, depending on which way you want this the binding bit to go. So I want that on the left, so I'm going to just make sure that it all lines up. That's fine. I think it's just slightly larger, so I might just need to trim. Oh, no, actually. So that's going to go on here in a second, once I'm happy with it all. Now this is going to go, let's see if we put that on there. And again, you can take bits off or you can leave bits on. It's really up to you. And then the $64 million question is, do I want to have the... Yeah, right, so I'm going to glue it. Actually, I'm going to use some tear tape, I think, just to make sure. You don't need a lot. So I'll just use a little bit of tear tape on here. I'm not putting it all the way across, or I could do, but I'm not going to keep this like this. I am going to trim it, so I just want it enough so that I can cut it down. Again, I'm just trying to make sure that my and it doesn't really matter, I can cut this and then I can decide which I want as the top or bottom. Let's get the trimmer. Just so that I've got straight ends. Let's see, let's go for 3 centimetres and see how that looks. I mean, you could be brave and use your circles to make it more of an oval type pot. So I'm going to put, maybe it's not going to work. Or maybe if I did it that way. Got here, that bit. if we move that down, so we'd go that way or go that way. I think that way. Right, okay, so I just need to glue carefully this piece on. The nice thing about it is that you can put dots on, or you don't need to put like lots and lots on, just sort of strategic places. I'm not going to go to the very ends because I'm quite happy for them to be sort of loose. Oops, just do this one bit here, I think. It also means if you haven't gone to the very ends that you can actually hold on to it. Otherwise you have to find your tweezers or something. Oh, let's put it here, I think, there, like that. Green piece is going to go on as well. So again, just try and put a bit of glue in the largest spots. That's that. So my pot's going to go here like that, but I'm going to put that on with some dimensionals. Oh, actually, you know what? I should use those. Use up my bits. Some of these are already cut, so I'll just use them up. That bit's cut. I know it's only a little area, but I think I'm going to make sure that it's not going to go anywhere. So it's pretty quiet on the Stampin' up front at the moment. I'm busy finishing off my prep for next month's Christmas stamper stack. Now, was it that way or was it that way? I think it was that way. And then that's going to go on here. Whoops. I've already, so I just stick, oh, there we go. Nearly put it on the wrong side. And that's going to go on there. So yeah, I'm busy doing sorting out my Christmas stamper stack. There are a couple of places left if you're interested. And clearance rack got updated yesterday. There's actually some fabulous things on there. That's that. Sorry, I've sort of gone quiet because I was concentrating. That's that. And I think I'm going to put some of those adhesive sequins on there. It's always a $64 million question, is what colour. I think, find my take your pick tool, there it is. I think I'm going to, let's see, wrong end. They're all, oh, so they have smaller ones. I was panicking then thinking they only had big ones. So let's do, oops, that one, and then some white ones. There we go. So that's the fourth card then, using that same kit. there is a bit of glue that I'm going to leave to dry it, and then I'm going to use my eraser on it. So if you're interested, you can order the kits now for October. You've got until the 22nd to do that. And again, if you go to oakfieldcrafts.com and then click on the tab at the top that says classes and events, you'll find there's a drop down, and that will be for the Cuppa kits. Similarly, you go to the same place and there will be a tab for in-person classes, and that will be for the Stampin' Stack. So, and I think that is it. I am done. I was trying to get these all on here, but I never seem to quite manage it. Let's see. Have we managed it? Gone close? I think we've got closer this time. So I hope you've enjoyed seeing those. The video will, obviously, it will come up on Facebook automatically. It will also be uploaded to YouTube, and on the YouTube, I'll also give all the cutting instructions for the kit and everything. So you can then, if you want to replicate these using either the same paper or something different, then you can. Okay, well, take care. Next week it's Stamping and Creating, so I hope to see you then. Bye.